Stephen Curry is a two-time MVP, the first unanimous MVP. He holds the record for the most three-pointers made and attempted in a single season. He's an NBA champion, and he is widely regarded as the greatest three-point shooter of all time. But in 2016, the Golden State Warriors lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I'm here to tell you the reason because of that is solely because of Stephen Curry. What's up, everybody? It's the one and only Legend of Winning, aka Low, and I'm here to give you 4 reasons why you should blame Stephen Curry for the 2016 NBA final loss that the Golden State Warriors had to encounter. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from the Cleveland Cavaliers, but it's quite obvious, at least in my eyes, and hopefully in your eyes once the video is done, that Curry was the biggest detriment to the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals this year. So let's get into it. Number 4, way too many turnovers. Now, for those who don't know me, one of my biggest pet peeves are turnovers. I just don't understand why so many people overlook this stat. It's ridiculous. Simply put, you turn the ball over, you're giving the team an extra possession. And when it came into the NBA Finals, Curry did this so many times, he nearly topped the list for most turnovers in the NBA Finals. Curry ended up with 30 turnovers in a 7-game series, which roughly averages out to be 4 turnovers a game. That is ridiculous. The only 2 people who actually beat him are LeBron James and Magic Johnson, who ended up with 31 turnovers a game. Magic did it back in '84, and ironically enough, LeBron did it this year as well. But the thing about those 2 players is that, one, LeBron ended up winning, and when Magic did it, he averaged 14 assists, and when LeBron did it, he averaged 9 assists. So again, if you're going to turn over the ball that many times, I at least expect 14 assists like Magic did, and of course LeBron won, so it's not that big of a deal. But to put things into bigger perspective, Curry turned the ball over 30 times and only got 26 assists. I'll say that again just in case you might have misheard me. Curry turned the ball over 30 times but only got 26 assists, which means that he turned the ball over more times than he actually got assists. And the most painfully annoying part of how Curry played is that his marquee moment, the thing that people will remember this finals by from him, is the behind the back pass that he attempted to do near the out of bounds line to give the ball to Klay Thompson. It was a poorly made decision by his part, and the fact that he did it in the 4th quarter of Game 7, I still don't get that. But the fact that you turned the ball over more times than you got assists is unexcusable. Number 3, defensive liability. Unfortunately, there are some people in the media who are trying to push this perspective that he is a quote-unquote elite defender. Like, get the fuck out of here with that. But we all know Curry, that's not his strong suit. He does play off ball a lot, and he ends up playing the off guard because he's not good enough to guard the ball handler. But in the NBA Finals, especially in Games 6 and 7, the Cleveland Cavaliers basically had, the answer for that. Allow Curry to be part of the pick and roll, and they'll force a switch, and off of that, Curry will guard the ball handler. Unfortunately, I don't really trust any stats out there, even the advanced stats. His defensive rating was 111, but again, I don't really trust those things. He really wasn't guarding the main ball handler. So what I'm going to do in the background, and I'm going to point out a few things that he did defensively that was just extremely ill-minded. So in the background while I was talking, I don't know if you noticed, but I was showing you some clips of how bad Curry was playing on the defensive end. Here's some more clips. I'm going to break down a little bit of these clips to show you how bad he was playing. The first one is a simple off-ball screens that was set for LeBron James. Curry has to pick up LeBron, but just look at the lackluster defense he plays. He's literally playing James Harden defense. He just doesn't care where LeBron is at, and he allows him to just blow right past him for an easy bucket. I'm not saying he's going to stop LeBron James, but you can at least make it a tad bit harder for him so the help can come. The second clip is a very simple, I'm picking up Kyrie. I don't know what that was from Iman, but I guess it was a screen, and they switch off. Curry's now guarding Kyrie, and this is what the Cavs wanted. Again, this is the unanimous MVP. We're not talking about just any old regular player. He should be able to at least stand in front of Kyrie, but unfortunately, Curry's not able to. Kyrie does a simple in and out between the legs, dance on him a little bit, and he blows right by him. It's ridiculous how poor of a defender Curry was. And last but certainly not least, yet again, some more footage of Curry just not caring about defense. Curry's supposed to be guarding Iman Shumpert. He puts his back to Iman Shumpert, which is just ridiculous. And he gets way too caught up in the ball handler, and he allows Iman Shumpert to cut through the lane and get an easy dunk. Again, James Harden defense. And you can go back and you can look at all the games and you can go over and over and over again, and you will see how easy it was to score on Curry. But again, take my word for it, Curry played terrible defense. Number 2, he only played one good game. Now heading to game 7, a lot of people were stating even if Golden State wins, Curry, odds are, will not win Finals MVP, which speaks volumes because 1, this is the second time that will end up happening in his career. And 2, this is the unanimous MVP, the first unanimous MVP, the player that has been widely regarded to be the best player in the NBA for at least the past year. And the fact that we're going into the NBA Finals and he's not going to win Finals MVP again is a major problem. But once you start to look at his numbers, you start to realize that it's true, he should not have won. Curry ended up averaging roughly 23 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, nearly a steal, almost a block, 40% from the field, 40% from 3, and like I said earlier, 4 turnovers a game. Now a lot of you are thinking to yourself, well, that's not that bad, but again, when they end up losing, those numbers start to be really bad. But to put things into bigger perspective and just to show you how bad he actually ended up playing throughout the whole entire season, let's go back to game 4 where Curry had his by far best game. Curry ended up getting 38 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. He didn't block, but he shot 44% from the field, 54 from 3, and he ended up getting 3 turnovers. Now those numbers are so good that they actually ended up inflating his finals average. And if you go back and look at what he averaged without including game 4 and look at what he did in games 1 through 3 and 5 through 7, then you start to really understand how terrible he played. So on the screen right now, on the left, you get to see what he put up in the whole entire final series. The numbers again, 23 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, so on and so forth. But on the right is what you get to see what he did in the finals without counting game 4. If you take game 4 out and see what he did for the rest of the finals, those are the numbers that he put up. 20 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, even less assists, which is crazy, less steals, less blocks. He shot under 40% from the field, 37% from the 3, and he got more turnovers, nearly 5 turnovers. That right there is insane. And the fact that people have the audacity, and I'm not trying to throw nobody under the bus, but the claim that the NBA is rigged when in reality Curry just played god awful, it is laughable to say the least. If anybody wants to point the blame on why they lost, just look at the numbers that he posted up and you will get a very clear answer. And the number one reason why you have to blame Steph Curry for the loss of the NBA Finals is because Steph Curry had one of the worst fourth quarter performances I've ever seen in my entire life. So let's get this straight. Too many turnovers, turned the ball over more times than he got assists, terrible defensively in the NBA Finals, and he really only played one good game, and that was back in game 4. But it still came down to the fourth quarter in game 7, and Curry played terrible. Just to put things in perspective and just tell you what he did in the fourth quarter, Curry went 1 for 6 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3, 1 turnover, and 3 points. That's it. He didn't get a rebound, he didn't get an assist, not a steal, not a block, not even a free throw attempt. That's it. He was chucking shot after shot after shot. And to put things into even bigger perspective, and so you can better understand what really happened if you didn't watch the finals, Stephen Curry made a 3 that tied the game with 7 minutes left to go, roughly 7 minutes left to go in the game. And so he tied it 83-83 all. But from that moment on, that's when the chucking really started, because after that 3 that he made with roughly 7 minutes left to go in the game, that's when he started missing every single last shot. For 7 minutes straight, roughly 7 minutes straight, Curry went 0 for 5 from the field and 0 for 4 from 3-point land. He really didn't do anything outside of the historic, because I think this is one of the biggest mistakes that Curry ever made in his career, the behind the back pass that he attempted to take to Klay Thompson in the corner. That is abysmal. And some of these shots that he was attempting were wide open shots. These are shots that he normally, or not even him, I mean, for Christ's sake, anybody could make these shots if they really attempted to or really wanted to make these shots. And I don't want to say that he choked, but at the end of the day, when you look at what he did in Game 7 in the fourth quarter, it's kind of hard not to say that he choked, especially when the game was still in grasp. So again, going back to all the other factors, too many turnovers, defensive liability, and playing only one game, it came down to the fourth quarter and he still wasn't able to close the game and give the championship to the Golden State Warriors. And for that, you have to blame Stephen Curry for the loss.